Inside the cozy room, under the soft yellow light, Jin stood opposite Gilly, speaking formally. He pointed towards the tall man standing with crossed arms and a self-satisfied smile. First, this is Runcondel's guardian, the black dragon Murakan. Jin then turned, about to introduce the woman standing with a somewhat bewildered expression. And this is... Before he could finish, Murakan spoke up, his voice full of delight as he recognized her. "I know who she is. After all, she is my precious strawberry pie." Hearing the strange moniker, Gilly gasped in surprise. She hastily bowed deeply, her voice trembling. "This humble servant of the Runcondel family apologizes for the rudeness I have caused you, Sir Guardian. Please forgive me." Murakan burst into hearty laughter, his cheerful sound echoing through the room. He waved his hand. "Don't worry, my strawberry pie. I'll gladly forgive you." Gilly raised her head, her face still showing a bewildered and confused look. Sir Murakan, may I ask why I am a strawberry pie?" "Because you are wonderful, beautiful, and make a perfect strawberry pie," Murakan replied with an ornate flourish. After a moment of stunned silence, Gilly exclaimed, "Oh," and then, as if suddenly enlightened, she spun around to Jin. "So he's the reason why young master keeps asking for strawberry pie every day?" Seeing Gilly's somewhat exaggerated reaction, Jin calmly spoke. "Can you sit down for a moment so I can explain?" After the three of them were settled on the sofa, Gilly looked at her young master with a complex expression. "There's so much I don't know about young master." "I'm sorry for lying to you, Gilly," Jin said softly. Gilly immediately shook her head, her eyes shining with sincere pride. "No, I always knew young master's talent was exceptional, but first magic, then Solderet's contractor, and now a dragon. I am simply amazed and happy for you as your servant." She clasped her hands tightly, her face radiant with joy. Seeing that Gilly had accepted the truth, Jin looked at her seriously. "Anyway, Gilly, you are one of us now. The family cannot know the truth that Murakan has awakened, nor my relationship with him, at least for now. Do you understand?" "Yes, young master, I understand," Gilly replied firmly. Murakan then leaned towards her with a wide grin. "You don't need to worry, strawberry pie. After all, I'll always be by this kid's side." Gilly slightly bowed her head, replying respectfully, "Thank you for your kindness, Sir Murakan." Gilly asked Jin with a bewildered face, "Oh, so was that noise just now Lord Murakan's transformation wearing off?" The boy replied awkwardly, "No, that..." Before he could finish, Murakan's booming voice echoed from the cracked floor. "I fell!" Seeing Murakan laughing maniacally behind him, Gilly turned pale, whispering to Jin, "Young master, are we sure we can trust this person?" Jin sighed wearily. "Probably, yes." Later, at the middle transfer gate, the atmosphere became more formal. Gilly stood before the Black King Squad, saying gratefully, "Well done, Black King Squad. The Runcondel family will surely reward your hard work handsomely." The squad leader with red hair and a scar on his face replied, "Thank you. This mission was a good experience for us too. I look forward to seeing the future of the Runcondel young master you are caring for." His gaze briefly lingered on Jin, who was standing with a black cat perched on his shoulder, then returned to Gilly with a more serious expression. "But, Gilly McLaurin, I have a question for you." "Yes," Gilly calmly replied. "As someone with extraordinary talent like yourself, why did you choose to leave the McLaurin family and become a nanny for the Runcondel young master?" Gilly was silent for a moment, then turned and walked towards the glowing gate, gently answering, "That's not something important enough to mention." Realizing he had overstepped, the squad leader bowed his head, his voice full of remorse. I apologize. I've overstepped." "It's all right," Gilly said, then turned back to face the squad. "In that case..."
At the magnificent middle transfer gate with high-flying banners, an attendant approached then formally stated, "Welcome, may I please see your identification?" Without a moment's hesitation, Gilly presented the metal card bearing the Runcondel family crest. To Cologne of the Hufester Allied Forces. Recognizing the symbol of the powerful sword, the attendant's demeanor immediately changed. He bowed respectfully, his voice full of admiration. "Ah, you are from the Runcondel family. What an honor. Please follow me. We will arrange the most premium seating for you." They were led to a luxurious waiting room completely separated from the outside noise. The attendant politely said his final words before leaving. "Just wait here for about 2 hours and you'll arrive in the blink of an eye, so I wish you a safe journey." As the door closed, Gilly and Jin sat on the splendid velvet upholstered sofa. Murakan, in his black cat form, stretched lazily. Gilly hesitantly called out, "Young master." Jin replied, his eyes not leaving his book. Gilly continued, her voice filled with worry. Honestly, as your maid, I am very concerned. Even if Murakan were discovered or something else happened, we could still manage. Jin went straight to the point. You're talking about my magic? Exactly, Gilly affirmed. No one in Run Candle would accept that. Jin looked up, a radiant, confident smile on his face. Don't worry, I know that, so I'll conceal it carefully. His words suddenly stopped. The smile on Jin's face abruptly vanished, replaced by an expression of stunned astonishment. Gilly and Murakan looked on, bewildered by what was happening. Jin's eyes were fixed on a group of people who had just entered the waiting room. He immediately recognized the symbol on the leading person's cloak. The symbol of the Imperial Dragon. That's... His gaze swept over the person with silver-white hair and deep purple eyes, accompanied by two tall, formidable-looking escorts. A name surfaced in Jin's mind, cold and unsettling. Zipple? In the luxurious, sun-drenched room, Jin was quietly reading a book on a crimson velvet sofa. Veradin Zipple clicked his tongue, a clear look of displeasure on his face. He thought, I had a feeling I shouldn't have come to Huefester today. Who knew I'd run into these annoying kids here? His gaze swept past Jin and Gilly, then settled on the black cat rubbing its head against its master's leg. Suddenly, Veradin's scowl softened, replaced by a smile of amusement. He exclaimed, "Oh, but your kitten looks cute." Murakan, who had been docile, suddenly jumped down onto the floor. Veradin bent down, extending a hand gently. "Come here, good boy." The black cat approached, but as Veradin's hand was about to touch it, it suddenly bared its fangs and growled angrily. A swish sound echoed, and Murakan's sharp claws scratched a long mark across the back of Veradin's hand. "Ah!" Veradin exclaimed in surprise. Instantly, his two bodyguards drew their swords, radiating murderous intent. One shouted, "Master, this beast!" However, Veradin raised a hand to stop them, his tone strangely calm. He said, "Hey, it's all right. It's just an animal. I probably provoked it. Besides, drawing swords in front of a run candle is pointless." While his bodyguards were still tense, Veradin glanced at Jin, who maintained a calm expression throughout. He silently assessed. "I just intended to tease them a bit to relieve boredom, but they showed no reaction. It seems the youngest run candle son is quite composed." At this moment, Gilly gently stroked Murakan's head, helping the bristling cat calm down. Veradin cleared his throat, straightened up, and turned to face Jin. With a polite smile on his lips, he bowed and introduced himself. "I am Veradin Zipple. Please accept my apologies for my previous rudeness." The moment the name Veradin Zipple was uttered, Jin's eyes widened, his composure vanishing, replaced by a sharp and astonished gaze. That name had stirred a storm in his memories.
In Jin's mind, the image of Veradin Zipple appeared clearly, a genius mage, the most brilliant heir of the Zipple family, a perfect role model for all young mages with both talent and character. He was an existence Jin once felt utterly distant from in terms of magical skill, Jin thought, yet now he was facing that person like a child his own age. In the luxurious room, Veradin smiled, breaking the silence. "This feeling is quite interesting, isn't it?" Sitting on the red velvet armchair, Jin smirked. "Isn't it? I'm also wondering what kind of person you are." Veradin glanced at the black cat peeking out from under Jin's chair and said, "It seems you're not entirely a fool." "Oh, what do you base that assessment on?" Jin calmly explained as the shadowy figures of two bodyguards vaguely appeared behind him. "Even if you're just joking, if those guys draw their swords, you'll have to go around Huefester without any bodyguards. Oh, and you might lose a few fingers." Veradin burst into hearty laughter at Jin's words. Well, even your jokes are quite violent." The smile on Jin's lips faded, his cerulean eyes flashing with a cold glint. "Do you think I'm joking?" The atmosphere suddenly became tense. Veradin's smile froze, and he awkwardly replied, "Well, all right, but let me give you some advice. If you meet another Zipple member later, or find yourself in a similar situation, don't make hasty decisions like cutting off their fingers. After all, wouldn't it be troublesome for both families?" Standing nearby, Gilly just silently observed. Jin sneered at Veradin's advice. "That's a good joke, Veradin Zipple. My father, Chiron Runcandle, and your father, Celiac Zipple, do you think they would drag their entire families into a simple childish fight?" Veradin was stunned, his amethyst eyes wide, completely speechless at Jin's sharp reasoning.
Veradin crossed his arms over his chest, nodding in agreement. "You're right, they'll probably only compensate with gold or something. Hey, I've learned something from you. I'll definitely repay this debt when I can." Jin looked up from his book, his eyes calm yet resolute. No need to wait until later, pay it now. I'd be very grateful if you could stay silent until the warp gate activates and don't disturb my rest. Veradin blinked in surprise, then burst out laughing. As Jin turned back to his book, Veradin fell into thought, his amethyst eyes gleaming with interest. Jin Runkindel. This kid, he looks like he'll become extraordinary in just a few years, won't he? If not for his family, I would have offered to be friends already. A bold thought suddenly sparked in Veradin's mind, making him unable to hide his excitement. Wait, if he's a Runkindel, does that mean there's a chance he'll become my destined rival? How wonderful! Jin let out a faint sigh, sensing the strange excitement of the person opposite him. What a bothersome guy. His hand was almost chopped off, yet he can still act like this. Is there something wrong with the Zipple family? They really are all insane. Just then, a solemn voice echoed throughout the room. Thank you for your patience, esteemed guests. The teleportation process will begin immediately. A colossal crystal in the center of the hall began to vibrate, emitting a brilliant blue energy flow that enveloped the space. Due to side effects, guests may experience headaches or nausea. Therefore, passengers, please. Before the announcement finished, the space was torn apart by chaotic magical currents. Amidst the dazzling light, Veradin shouted towards Jin, his platinum hair flying in the swirling energy. Jin Runkindel, it was a pleasure meeting you. See you next time. In response to the excessive enthusiasm, Jin whispered, I disagree. It's best if we never meet again. Both instantly vanished in a burst of blue light, leaving the room empty.
Under the clear blue sky, the Runkindel family's main mansion appeared majestic and magnificent. As Jin stepped down, Gilly was already waiting by the door with a gentle smile. I've been waiting for you, young master. An elderly man, dignified in a butler's formal attire, approached. His demeanor exuded elegance and experience, flanked by knights in full armor standing motionless like statues. The old man gave a slight bow, his voice calm and deep. Greetings, young master. This is my first time meeting you. I am Pedro, the second-class butler. You must have had a tiring journey. I extend my sincere welcome to the Runkindel family's main residence, the Garden of Swords. Following Pedro's gesture, a breathtaking and overwhelming sight unfolded before Jin. Stretching as far as the eye could see was a vast garden, but instead of flowers and plants, it was filled with thousands upon thousands of swords plunged vertically into the ground. Long swords, short swords, great swords of various shapes and patterns, from simple to ornate, stood tightly packed like a cold metallic forest. A few green leaves, carried by the wind, fluttered gently past the gleaming sword hilts under the sunlight, creating a scene that was both beautiful and extraordinary.